Welcome, my name is Bjorn, thank you for joining me today, and we are going to be looking at a specific character build that I've kind of built around Buffy. This is pretty old apparently, I just never got around to recording it. One thing I'll say right now, this character build is built in mind as if you don't have access to the Blood Hunter from Matt Mercer. That really comes down to if your Dungeon Master allows for Blood Hunters. If you have access to a Blood Hunter, I say just go straight up play a Blood Hunter for Buffy. It's a pretty decent fit, it can make sense, you can kind of work it into the story, talk with your Dungeon Master, work out the lore of how the Blood Hunter or your Blood Hunter school works, but this is for those people that don't have access to it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, as we can see here, this is what I've ended off with: a Gloomstalker Ranger of level 12, a College of Lore Bard of level 5, and a Scout Rogue of level 3. I focus this character very much on skills and proficiencies over, say, just pure raw brute physical like fighting prowess. And if you want to go for more of a fighting prowess, I would say instead of going with even the College of Lore Bard or the Rogue, you can get rid of these two and go straight into Monk. That way you'd get a bit more of that unarmed combat going in there, and your unarmed strikes are actually going to be able to, at I believe 7th level Monk, they'll be able to affect ghosts, things that normally require, say, a magical weapon. For this, I like the idea that the Slayer, even though she has the Watcher at her side with Giles, say, she's still developing a certain knowledge, a certain intelligence around what she's fighting, and she's able to hold her own on that kind of side of everything. Alright, now that we're over here, there are going to be some multi-classing requirements. For the Ranger, it will be a Dexterity of 13 and a Wisdom of 13. For the Rogue, it will be a Dexterity of 13, and for the Bard, it will be a Charisma of 13. And as for my race of choice, I've decided to go with the Half-Elf here. We gain a +2 to Charisma, and +1 to 2 other stats. That's pretty awesome. We gain Dark Vision, Fey Ancestry, we gain Skill Versatility. I'm again focusing this character on being a skill-heavy build, and of course we get a language of choice. So we're going to quickly just look at the build here and go over some specifics. For when you would, I'll go over when you want to multi-class into, say, Bard or Rogue in this case. But as we can see here, I've decided to go with a fighting style of 2-weapon fighting. I believe that, at least how I want to use this character, I plan on using a hand crossbow in one hand, and I would like to be using maybe a long sword or something that I can use in one hand and in the other. Of course, I skipped over the first level abilities with favorite enemies. I got so used to doing that with the Ranger. This really depends on your campaign setting, but of course, if you're playing the Slayer type, I really recommend going into Undead. It makes sense with vampires, it makes sense with all that. We also have Natural Explorer at first level. This is, again, up to you, up to your campaign setting, up to your background, explaining all that. I decided to go with Underdark. And at 3rd level, I go ahead and have chosen the Gloomstalker. Gloomstalker is awesome. It's going to give us an increase to our Dark Vision, but not only that. The reason why I like the Gloomstalker so much is because we also become adept at evading creatures that rely on Dark Vision. While in darkness, you are invisible to any creature that relies on Dark Vision to see you. So, like vampires and shit like that, anything can't see in the dark. That is amazing. That is such an upper hand with the things that you're looking to go out to hunt. As well, of course, the Dread Ambusher we gain as well, so we get to add our wisdom score to our initiative rolls. So very, very useful. And we also get to have a little bit of additional movement speed at the beginning of combat there. I've decided to go with the Crossbow Expert here. This is going to work really well with us wanting to dual wield a crossbow. We can do that in both hands if we really wanted to, or I was going with a crossbow in one hand and a sword in the other. This way I'll be able to take a swing at something near me within 5 feet, or I can go ahead and use my crossbow without penalty. This Crossbow Expert is very useful. Just the fact that we get to ignore that loading property, and of course we get to use an attack with the crossbow as a bonus action. Of course, 5th level, we gain the extra attack feature, very useful. We gain another favored enemy at 6. I've decided to go with Fiends here, trying to keep in line with that Demons and Undead kind of feel. And then we gain Iron Mind at 7th, pretty good. We gain Landstride at 8th. Another ASI. I've decided to go with Athlete here. I decided to go with this because there is an option. Instead of going with the Scout Rogue, you could possibly look into going with the Thief Rogue. The Thief Rogue is going to make you a bit more physically adept as well, because you're going to be able to have a longer jump distance and jump height. And while that doesn't sound all too useful right away to some people, it is extraordinarily useful in the right situation. So Athlete is a good substitute if you don't want to go with that the rogue archetype there. Of course, we gain Hide in Plain Sight at 10th. We gain Stalker's Flurry at 11th. This is a very powerful ability. And then for a final feat in our Ranger here, I've decided to increase my Strength and Charisma. With any of these ASIs too that I'm listing off, if you didn't reach those the stat minimum requirement, I'd suggest getting to that, or maybe getting your Dexterity up to a 20, because that Dexterity up to a 20 is invaluable, really. And then quickly to get into, we'll start off with the Bard here. We gain a new proficiency. I've decided to go with Perception here. It makes sense, being able to perceive shit. Choose a musical instrument of choice. We gain Bardic Inspiration. I really like this because I noticed that Buffy throughout the series, she is a fairly inspiring character. She is a heroine that looks to help and aid her friends and save the world and all that shit. But it's very, very useful. And later down the line, we do get cutting words with the College of Lore that we get. So I do like this. Some more quips that we can throw at the enemies, distract them. In a way, we are playing a very defensive character here. We are looking after our party members. Or you can take this character and be a complete asshole if you'd like. You turn into Evil Faith. Second level, Jack of all trades, an extraordinarily powerful ability. We get half proficiency in everything. That includes tools. So if you don't have proficiency in smithing tools, you have half proficiency in smithing tools. This is a very powerful ability. I love Jack of all trades. We gain Song of Rest. This is just something to benefit your party. And of course, the Bardic College. I've decided to go with College of Lore, befitting into that the idea that she has a better understanding of the beasts that she's going up against. I've decided to go with Persuasion, Deception, and Sleight of Hand here. For the expertise, I've decided to go with the Stealth and Intimidation skills here. It felt fitting for me. I really like them. As for the 4th level ASI, I've decided to go with Medium Armor Master. I plan on wearing half plate with this character. If you end up going with the Monk route, you don't need to worry about Medium Armor Master. You'll be able to instead focus on something else. I just really wanted to wear Medium Armor with this character. I want to wear half plate. I thought it was badass, honestly. And of course, a 5th level Bard, we do gain the Font of Inspiration, able to regain those Bardic Inspiration dice on a short or a long rest. And then finally, we come into the Rogue. We do gain a new proficiency. I've decided to go with Intimidation here. As you can tell, I had my expertise from in Intimidation with the Bard, so I'll get into how I multi-classed with this character in a little bit here. As for expertise, I've decided to go with Acrobatics and Athletics, and as we gain Sneak Attack, Thieves' Cant, Cunning Action, extraordinarily useful. And then at 3rd level, we do gain the Roguish archetype. I went with Scout here just because we gain Survivalist, we gain proficiency with Nature and Survival, but these become expertise. Even if you don't have Nature and Survival beforehand of choosing this archetype here, these are just going to be expertise. That's why I really like the Scout with this. And of course, I've decided to go with the Skirmisher here, purely because even though we are looking to defend and protect and all that shit, we are somewhat of a glass cannon. I've realized that we have a lackluster of constitution here, so we don't have the greatest hit pool, but maybe you roll really good. So that's all right. So I'm gonna end it here. It's just a quick overview. She has a pretty freaking decent set of skills here. She has a pretty decent AC here. She would have a pretty decent AC even with studded leather. With the +3 studded, so why not? Again, I was going with the hand crossbow +3, longsword +3. Pretty decent setup, honestly, for your toolkit. It's mostly, I'm trying to play this character up as in, the best example I can give is, if people understand this, is something between Scanlan and Vex. I want a combination of Vex and Scanlan. I want how much of an asshole Scanlan was, along with how caring Vex was from Critical Role Season 1. And but that's my own personal choice. You go ahead and take this, play it however you want. I'm just hoping that this gives you a toolkit or a reference in which you're going to be able to use to go out and be a Slayer. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one. Bye-bye.